Greetings and welcome back to the BFC, where we go into the trenches of the trading world and get us some DD from the source. I gotta say this, go Bills. That first quarter had me on edge. I'm like, is this going to be one of these games? Is this going to be one of those seasons? But clearly it wasn't, and it was a great game. And it's nice to sit down and sort of watch a little bit of a tense game when there's not so much riding on it on week one. So it was a good day here in Buffalo. Listen, we have a couple awesome guests today, and I gotta say, these stocks are so under the radar, and it's just a matter of time before they get the attention that they deserve. And I'm talking about tickers LUDG in the medical laboratory space, as well as AHRO in the media, entertainment, and ad rev industry. And yes, I will be talking ILS at the end, so make sure you stick around because I got a lot to say. Let's get this party started. Here for his maiden voyage on the BFC, COO of Ludwig Enterprises Incorporated, is Antonio Reyes. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's bring him in. Mr. Reyes, welcome to Buffalo Fireside Chats. How you doing?
Absolutely well. Thank you.
Now, I've been following this stock for a good month now, and I'm starting to get very excited because you have something that will be conveniently disruptive to the medical labs industry. But before we get into all those juicy details, I want you to tell everybody about your background and how this journey started with Ludwig.
Absolutely. Well, whether it's jobs or in Wozniak in a garage, the best business opportunities and relationships come through a partnership, long-term partnership. And our CTO, Dr. Kyle Lambert, and our CSO, both co-founders, met at the Michael J. Fox Foundation almost a decade ago. Dr. Lambert was the CTO for Intel, head of data analytics. And Marvin and he were invited in to help study if there were any opportunities in solving that horrible disease. After some really remarkable findings, their friendship began. And while Kyle went on to Nike, and Marvin and his family came over to Florida, their friendship continued. And Marvin's understanding and what they had started to unravel was the relationship that mRNA, certain biomarkers, had to inflammatory disease, their correlation. And they realized that these specific biomarkers, 48 to be exact, were perhaps the most clear dynamic signal inside the body of inflammatory diseases. And then in 2019, they brought all of this under Ludwig and realized that in 2022, they were ready to go patent this, because no matter how great your idea is, if you cannot patent and protect it, then it's not valuable to the market. They did so. In 2023, that became a PCT patent. These two men, alongside some really impressive folks, brought together a patent that will disrupt the cancer screening market by a direct-to-consumer home kit that uses a simple, non-invasive cheek swab and is able to, with the highest level of precision currently on the market, provide women, because our first market will be breast cancer, will provide women with a signaling of how their body is responding to their environment and whether or not they need to act promptly and create a health plan with their specialist, or if their body is signaling that they're in good shape. So it's really exciting to see how this all came together as a long relationship between these really brilliant minds. They brought it here to Ludwig, and now we're about to launch here in Q4 our first ever direct-to-consumer test kits. And it's all really exciting, but I'd love to get into the meat of it and share more about what we're doing.
Absolutely. And guys, put your questions in the chat. And we're going to have the actual CEO, Dr. Hausman, on, in the coming weeks. So guys, put your questions in the chat, and Antonio's going to answer what he can tonight. But now, like I said, I'm hoping to have him on in the next 3 to 4 weeks, and he's very accomplished. So let's talk about your working relationship with him, and why is his leadership why is his leadership so important to the success of this?
Yeah, and that's a great point. If your listeners want to know the difference between DNA, RNA, and epigenetic modifications. In about 2 to 3 weeks, you'll have our Chief Science Officer and founder, Dr. Hausman. But I will say this. I've been working now with Marvin and the Ludwig team for over a year. And I had recently launched a very successful systems engineering firm. And I was in Boston enjoying a semi-retirement of sorts when I realized that my mother had contracted and was struggling with breast cancer. So I came down to Florida and met Marvin about a year and a half ago when he and Kyle and the pharmacological team were just about to discover this enormous finding. So I raised my hand and came out of retirement and joined Marvin and Kyle and the team in this effort, because I realized that while the inflammatory markers that they were identifying are in fact in the future going to be useful for prostate, bladder, skin cancer. Marvin too had just recently suffered some personal situations with the people in his family, and we had breast cancer on our hearts. For personal reasons. Then we, of course, realized that in the market, there was a lot of friction, a lot of confusion. A lot of women in their 60s were told now in the 50s, now we're told in their 40s, need to start to become more aggressive in pursuit of a wellness plan. At the same time, there's a lot of confusion and opacity in the marketplace. And unfortunately, most of the instrumentation and the technology is DNA based, right? And it's often invasive, making an appointment with your doctor for, in some cases, painful procedures like a mammogram. And a lot of women were just reticent to begin that process. So we realized that we could provide remove this friction, lower the barrier to entry, because oftentimes, as I've shared with you, early detection is our only known cure, right? There is no cure to cancer. A big portion of us around the world are going to face and have, I think at the World Health Organization, I think we were sharing, is it like 40 point something percent, 40.5%, and will face cancer in their lifetime. And 70% of these are preventable deaths if there's early detection. But there's so much hesitation on moving forward with a breast health plan that a lot of times they're detected far too late. And I think when it comes to DNA, which in many cases, women are BRCA1, BRCA2 negative, right? And they tend to have a false sense of relief, and then they realize that that is not necessarily the only indicator, that DNA is a static snapshot of your genome that you're born with, but the mRNA, these biomarkers, are in fact more dynamic. They're the way that DNA communicates, and it communicates differently as we age, our diet, our environment. A lot of these factors can sometimes impact our body's inflammatory responses. And the mRNA provides us the best signal. And our test focuses on that specific subset.
Yeah, and it obviously this is very personal to you. And I think that my audience, anybody watching this right now, I know for me personally, I've seen people that have gotten cancer. We've lost people to cancer.
Right.
This isn't something, I mean, we could look at some of the statistics right here. Cancer caught early, you talk about preventative, 70% of early deaths, 40.5% of people will be diagnosed with cancer at some point during their lifetimes. 40.5% of people. This touches all of us, in one way, shape, or form. 70% of premature cancer deaths were preventable with the help of early detection, according to the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer. You have cancer causes 600,000 American deaths and nearly 10 million global deaths annually. All right. So this is something that my audience, I already know that this is close to you, because just the statistics themselves. And
Sure.
so it's good to know that, you guys, you take this very, very seriously. And I know you take this very, very seriously.
Right.
And so I
And
got to ask about
go ahead.
the product. I want to go a little bit more in depth with the
Right.
product.
Right.
Um,
So,
let's talk about, you have a non-invasive, patent protected
right.
cheek swab cancer diagnostic that can aid in the early detection of cancer.
That's
So
correct.
when's this product going to be available to the masses? Tell us all about it.
Sure. So and I'm glad we can't emphasize enough. The IP protects, and out of the 360,000 combinations of mRNA in a single human cell, um, the Dr. Hausman over the years started to recognize that there were 48 specific nucleic acids that have studied carefully and their particular combinations, and that's where Dr. Kyle Lambert's expertise comes in. His ability to create neural networks that would analyze the permutations of 48 separate biomarkers and identify which of those were specific to, in this case, breast cancer, is what our IP protects. The IP also includes this particular cheek swab after years of testing that can pick up the certain amount of nanoparticles after a 2-minute cheek swab, along with the corresponding solution, and that the solution in the way that we later sequence, and that's also in our IP, the specific chip that sequences these 48 biomarkers, it could be preserved for weeks. In fact, I believe I've heard Dr. Hausman say that in -80, they could be preserved for 6 months.
Wow.
They're still accurate. And so talking
That's
about
crazy.
the product is simple to use, and its fidelity and its ability to travel, because it will come at, we're working beautifully on the marketing side. I'm sure in 3 weeks we'll want to show you some early renderings, but I'm really impressed. It'll be a simple kit that arrives in a woman's home, 2 cheek swabs, returned envelope, no fancy anything, because the solution itself is enough to protect when it's sent back, and it could come back to us weeks later or the next day, and it'll still have that kind of fidelity. So the IP, the product is accurate, simple, and its preservative is able to maintain the fidelity of the results. So then when it comes to the product itself, the mRNA, as we started to talk about, is very different than the DNA. By being able to capture these sorts of more accurate signals from the body, we're able with a certain precision. So let's talk about that, right? A lot of times in this space, the mammogram is the kind of standard bearer, right? That everybody talks about. Mammograms are, aside from being in some cases painful, and if you have, if your wife or daughter have dense breast tissue, it is even more painful. But those are the women that need to pursue the test the most, because they're the ones most likely to suffer from the disease. The quote sensitivity or the accuracy of that test can drop down into the 50s. It ranges between 60 and 80, but it really is not the panacea. It's not the true solution. And again, the only other competitor in the field uses tear ducts, and it's a really complicated process to order and to apply and
We discussed this, and when you
yeah,
told me this, I was like, "Wait 1 second." I go, "That's how the sample works." Like
right.
well, explain what that competitor does, because honestly, you might cringe, but listening to this guy, go
Right.
ahead.
Right. Well, there are two things at play here. One, you receive a kit with a freezer pack that you have to freeze in your refrigerator, and you can only take the test on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, because the fidelity won't survive a weekend for the most part. So forget holidays. And then on top of that, you have to place a stick, a device that they provide under your eyelid for up to 5 minutes in order to extract enough tear ducts. Because unlike our buccal cells, cheek cells that we derive our mRNA, they're deriving it from tear ducts. So
Wow.
it's painful, invasive, complicated, But aside from that, they claim a certain level of sensitivity, and sensitivity is something that people use quite often. What's the sensitivity? But what is often not discussed, Eric, is the specificity. So sensitivity being able to identify if they can find the cancer gene, but specificity are false positives, right? And there are a lot of other kind of numbers that are utilized when evaluating the quality of a test and a screen. We've taken them all into account, and in the statistical space, our data nerds talk about it as the F1. It's the harmonic mean between specificity and sensitivity. And the specificity of our competitor is very low, which means they're providing false positives.
Mhm.
And there is no 100% accurate test. It doesn't exist. But our harmonic mean ranges in the high 80s, which means our false positives are above our competitor, and our accuracy, specificity, our sensitivity is ahead of our competitor as well. And the beauty of us is that anyone who tells you there it is, that's what it is always, is really trying to play games with you. The data and the fidelity of the test improves if there's integrity, and we have that in our lab, and it's a CAP CLIA lab, highest certification allowed in the industry, that's sequencing this information. And then you have the integrity of the analysis, the AI analysis. And that only improves with time as we receive more data. Now, let's talk about our current data, right? Let's talk about the fidelity. Now, Antonio, where did you come up with those numbers? In 2019, when Kyle and Marvin came together, and in 2022, they put it in a patent after going to Germany and getting the sequencing and everything underneath the patent derived. They went into the lab, and because Dr. Hausman is a renowned, respected physician who's actually already seen several patents, prosecuted several patents successfully prior. One was eventually sold to Merck, right? And so he understands what it is to write a patent, how to protect a patent. The most important thing is the IRB 40 clinical trial study that was done, where over 3,000 actual patients were swabbed with the solutions and this cheek swab that we've been talking about, the Ludwig cheek swab. So the IRB study at 40 clinical sites generated the kind of data that then we could analyze in our kind of neural network space utilizing AI. So my 29-year-old daughter said, "Dad, why hasn't this been invented already?" Well, it took a lifetime of somebody like Marvin thinking about this process, converging with the AI expertise at Dr. Kyle Lambert. They're two generations, but two brilliant men that converged around identifying these 48 biomarkers that could provide an accurate inflammatory index for breast cancer.
I mean, the meeting of two brilliant minds
Right,
can have a huge astronomical solution.
right.
I mean, so this is very special. It's a very special thing for everyone. Anybody that wants early cancer detection, and so this is going to be very exciting to see
Yeah,
how this comes out. And I have a couple other questions, and I know my chat. There's a couple people in the chat that have some really good questions I want to put up for you as well. But I do want to let everybody know and I put this in the chat earlier. Revelia.com. They recently, I think just today, launched your website. And so make sure you get on there, give it a shout. It's going to go live on October 1st, correct?
correct. So it will go live. Well, as you can see, there's already a live landing page. And the same kind of meticulous care, Eric, that we took with our science, we're going to take with our marketing. It took us almost a month and a half to come up with Revelia. And the branding is already in place. The logo is in place. We've trademarked the logo. We're moving forward on the FINRA ticker shift. And it'll be really exciting to see how that new marketing shapes up and delivers the message, because at the end of the day, communicating effectively to women and understanding that market is going to be key. And I know that we have the team to do it and has the experience to do it. So we're thrilled to get it going.
Yeah,
And
and guys, if you sign up, you could go on, and I actually automatically registered.
Mhm.
It'll give you an option. There's two options. There's investor information, but there's also an update when you sign up as to where they are at in the process of the trial. Basically the product launching. So, guys, go on revealy.com if you're interested in this stock. I think a lot of people should be, because this is going to affect everybody. This already does affect everybody. It's a very serious issue. Get registered on that site, revealy.com. Go right to the bottom of the page and register. So go ahead. I want you to keep finishing what you were saying. If you wanted to continue on.
Yeah. Well, no, and the good news continues to your listeners, right, and to those retail investors interested in our story. Is it if you were to follow our timeline, there are three major benchmarks that are up ahead: the Q4 launch of the product, following the launch of the full brand, right? And then it is the uplist, right? And I
Mhm.
think it's important to note that the third member of this dream team is our CFO. Scott Silverman is a veteran of the financial markets and has successfully launched close to 25 IPOs and uplists. And he is someone who has been responsible, obviously, for all of our S1s, all of our filings. He is one of those really important behind the scenes folks who will ensure he's ensured that our debt ratios, all of our notes, by the way, to original investors are all convertible, right? There's almost no toxicity, and that's why a number of very important banks have been in discussions with us, and we're in final stages of of securing the kind of underwriting that we will need to uplist. So uplist
So
is
let me ask you. So with the share structure as nice as it is now,
Mhm.
if you had to, based on where the share price is, of course, the split to get up to a big board would be absolutely minimal if it was even needed.
Right. And the nice thing is that Scott and the banks, and I've seen Marvin, engaging their chief behavioral and science officers at the banks. I've seen him engaging with the chief financial experts in due diligence. There's no toxicity. There's no
Mm.
there's no friction between our ability to uplist. We have taken care of our books. We've taken care of our science. We've taken care of our business. Um, and good Lord, I'd love to be a bank on the other side, uplisting a company like ours, because it will promise to make it's going to be an exciting time.
The
That's
market growth for your diagnostics
right,
is it's going to be huge,
right,
and just look at the CAGR of these guys.
right,
Um, it's big. By 2030, it's going to quadruple, if I'm correct.
right,
So you guys are putting yourself in the right market. You have
right.
a completely disruptive product. And so I want to get to there's a ton of questions in the chat, and I
Yes,
know I have another guest, waiting to come out, but we have to get some questions in
right.
from the audience. So why don't we just hop to it? I
Okay.
know the big BS, he's a Discord member. Shout out to you, man. You really put a lot of great questions um, you know, in the Discord. So thank you for being an active member. So I'm just going to blast out questions. If you want to give the answers, if you can. If not, we could have Dr. Hausman. He will be
Yes.
able to answer these. So
And Eric, by the way, is there any way to archive the questions, so if we don't have the time or we need one of our other experts, we can reach out to those individuals?
yeah, I'll make sure that your team gets Discord access, and
Mhm.
there is an LUDG due diligence room, and you guys could respond in real time to the Discord members and give them the answers that they're looking for.
Excellent.
All
The
right.
answer to big BS is yes. Inside the patent, we already have prostate and bladder, but in fact, the next step in our timeline, even beyond uplists, is that we're already going to be presenting at national, global cancer, inflammatory disease conferences, publishing our findings in papers, which continue to grow. The analysis just continues to expand. So we plan in our second phase to be a multi-cancer screening option. Same cheek swab, same sort of simple, innovative, but we've gone to the breast cancer front first for the reasons I mentioned earlier. But yes, BS, it is to multiple cancers.
What is the frequency of testing that is recommended, and is the hopes to have buccal testing, is that how you say it? I would think listed as alternatives in the USPSTF's recommendations.
Yes. In fact, our scientists have been talking about that, and there right now is not a specific time. But if you were to move to a different space and place, a different environment, a radically different, if I lived in Beijing for the next 3 years, given the environment that I live in, I would probably need to accelerate when my next swab would take place, right? If I'm at a certain age, I could probably need to be more aware. So we'll be coming out with more and more of those definitions as the science provides. But it is remarkable how nascent, the understanding of these biomarkers, nucleic acids, and mRNA are. But thank God we have somebody who's been thinking and studying them for almost his entire life, in Dr. Hausman.
Yeah, right on. And I'm gonna make sure, like, I'll get you guys Discord access so that way, because he actually has a ton of questions in there. And I think, if I'm correct, he is a former physician as well. So he's gonna have all those good questions. You know what I mean? So and he did ask about whether or not you guys are gonna publish all this in a medical journal. When's that anticipated?
Yes, 2025. In fact, thanks. Yes, because our huge sort of step, and you probably are aware, before we can apply for third-party insurance payment, right now it's direct to consumer. Our next step is third-party insurance payments. We would need that publication, worldwide publication. In fact, as you know, as a physician, Marvin is already finalizing some proposals for some conferences for next year and publications. That's part of the 2025 goal, to make sure that we have those publications in place so that we could proceed to the next stage of growth.
A little comment from Sailing Fantastic. Hello, Sailing. Every OTC listed company should have a Scott Silverman from day one.
Oh my goodness, you have no idea. It is like having I'm going to show my age. It's like having a Johnny Bench. Nobody wants to be a catcher until you need somebody backing up a wild pitch, right? And that is who Scott Silverman is, keeping everything in line. And it's been really fun so far over the year and a half working with him.
Okay. John Don, what's up, brother? I hope you're doing, I hope you're having a great day up there in Canada. Not stressing out about American football, my friend. Another Discord member. What will the cost of the test be?
$249.
$249. We had a question, and this was answered by Chic Man over there. But I do want to pose this question to you as well. Will this cheek swab replace the need for mammograms?
Great question. We do not, at this point, want anyone to think that it should replace their health plan with their physician. Their physician may say, we can bypass mammograms and go straight to the sonogram based on the high index that you have. But we are giving our females, women, a tool. I don't know if you're like me, Eric. I walk into a doctor or a mechanic or a dentist and I feel uninformed, uneducated, and totally vulnerable. Imagine if you could print out a diagnostic of what's really wrong with your engine before you take it to the mechanic. Right? How much better would you feel? And
you'd save a couple hours of labor, that's for sure.
A lot of labor, a lot of agita. So our hope is to really provide women a tool that their body provides for them, and all we're doing is amplifying that signal through scientific means. So it's empowering the clients and the patients.
Yeah, and I think like home care and early prevention, I think these types of things, like somebody like me who has white coat syndrome, I mean, like, I love when they go and they take your blood pressure. I'm like, man, you're unbelievable. Just you walking in that door, my blood pressure is going up.
Exactly.
And the Big BS did want to say that. He wanted to say thank you and he's an excited investor. And I'm going to make sure that you get all those other questions answered. The big BS.
Fantastic.
I'll make sure.
Fantastic.
And I do want to ask you one or two more other questions before I let you go. So let's look. Is it the objective of this team? You've made it clear, you guys going full throttle right when this launch starts, full throttle. And by that, I mean becoming a household name, a go-to for
Yes.
non-invasive self-administered cancer screenings.
Amen. That has to be. And when comparing us to anybody else, imagine if Cologuard has the technology that we have. If Cologuard had the science that we have, imagine what kind of growth Cologuard might have happened. That's the kind of model, right? Direct to consumer, followed by third-party insurance carriers. We're just fortunate that we're 10 years later and we have that much more science backing us, and the kind of team that we have supporting the process. Full steam ahead. Can't wait.
Full steam ahead. And I do want to ask this question, and you've already made your case, especially when you talk about Scott. I want to talk about the big board briefly. OTC companies all the time, they claim they have a plan to get to the NASDAQ or the NYSE, and oftentimes they fall short or they're just blowing smoke. What is this team's plan to comfortably get to a big board?
Sure. Well, it starts with the original investors, right? If you have toxicity, or if you've not properly papered legally the commitments you've made, then you're in trouble. So it starts with that.
We've seen nightmares. Yes, that's I agree.
Indeed. And the note is very simple. And in fact, the note that I've been, even quietly sharing with family and friends, because everybody on this team is a big investor in the company. Let's just put it that way. We're not just word in, we're all in. And so are our friends and family. That's how much we believe in it. Those notes are very simple, and they actually require all these happy participants to convert, right? So there's not going to be that kind of typical issues and problems. The debt ratio, I've heard Scott mention to the banks that have been already going through due diligence with us. Everything is clean. Our S1s are clean. It really is about the track record of the team. It's not like, tell me what you might do, but, check Scott Silverman's, track record, Marvin's track record. It's what we have done as a team. So no toxicity, simple measures, already in deep due diligence with several suitors who are excited to underwrite. And we've already had conversations with the folks at the major, I guess the big leagues, right? As the OTCs like to call it, the major leagues. And they've been pitching to us to come to them because of
That's nice.
what they've seen. So it's almost an embarrassment of riches, Eric. I mean, I'm a Duke graduate. I almost find it irreverent to compare myself to Coach K, but I feel like I'm Coach K, the CEO of a dream team, right? It's remarkable to see the kind of talent that we have at Ludwig, soon to be Revelia, and we're going to bring home the gold as Krzyzewski did many times.
I love the enthusiasm. I want to give you just two more questions,
Yes.
and then I got to kick you out of here. But
Sure.
this is a great question. What does the packaging of the test look like? Are you working with Susan B. Komen? Did they endorse it? So are you working to get an endorsement for that? That'd be enormous. I mean, I could see, because sometimes they sponsor events. I mean, I've ran a race, Susan B. Komen sponsored race, where they could have these tests out and give these out to people, and where they could probably buy these tests in mass quantities. Right. I mean, that would be a sponsorship. That would be freaking huge. Right. It really would.
No, it would. First part of the question: what does the test look like? I am tempted to, Command Tab. I'm on an Apple and show you the elegance of the box and the logo, and that is essentially ready to go to print, and it's far in advance of any deadlines. I think I'll let Marvin show it off when he's back with you. I know you got to be careful. I don't know if you have other guests on Marvin's day, but he can go deep on the science, but I'll have him maybe show the first renderings. All I can say is it's elegant and at the same time serious, and simple and straightforward.
We're gonna have a whole I want the whole team on. I'd like it's gonna be LUDG day.
Yeah.
I'm just letting my crew know. So guys, get your questions ready for Marvin because it's gonna be a meaty episode. It really is.
Fireworks. Yes, and I think I mentioned earlier that we're already in conversations with a local cancer institute, the Major Cure Bowl, which is, for those of you not here in Orlando, Central Florida, it's the big college bowl game in Central Florida. And for the last 10 years, ESPN and the Orlando Sports Foundation have focused in on all the revenues going towards the Cancer Institute here at the University of Central Florida. And we were in conversations with the director of that institute or the Sports Foundation. Susan B. Komen would be next. We've just been really busy. I think we're thrilled to partner. It's going to take our science apart in addition to everyone's collective efforts to bring relief, information, and wellness to women.
Remarkable. Like I am very, very excited for what you guys are doing for many, many reasons. What are your closing thoughts that you'd like to convey to shareholders or potential shareholders?
Sure. I think the one is integrity in our science, integrity in our team, and go-to-market strategy. And we have been holding quiet until we could see the whites of the science eyes, and now we're going to go full throttle. So now is the time to back integrity in a market that is opaque in many cases, but enormous, and I think we're all going to benefit and bring good to the world.
Wow. Mr. Antonio Reyes, I want to thank you for joining me on Buffalo Fireside Chats.
Pleasure, Eric.
All right, now get this guy out of here. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Man, that was an awesome interview. I can't wait to have the whole team on because I know some of you guys have a ton of questions. Like I said, there were a ton of questions in the Discord. When we have the whole team on, when we have Dr. Hausman on, I'm sure we're gonna be educated. So great job, and special shout out to the Big BS. You had some great questions, and so good stuff. All right, our next guest is no stranger to the BFC. He's been on multiple times. He's been smashing it with his company lately. I'm talking about none other than Chris Giordano of ticker AHRO, Authentic Holdings Incorporated. Let's bring him in. Mr. Giordano, welcome back to the BFC. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Okay, other than the fact that I just followed Frank Sinatra, okay, you put me on. The cure for death versus the cure for cable television. So anyhow, that was, you know what? I'm going to go buy 50,000 shares of it.
You're right.
Yeah,
you know,
that was a great presentation. Okay, and you know what? It doesn't take a whole lot to get it if they have the the data room. Okay, that's filled with that kind of stuff. Okay, it's an easy buy in my opinion.
Oh, totally. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm excited about you too. You're crushing it lately. Dude, you are bringing it. And so anybody that's waited for AHRO to come to life, guess what? You've done it. And so I want to I want to start with the most recent PR. Okay. And this is a big one, but there's so many other things you have going on here. You talk about receiving and working with the company that's essentially going to have 300 million in sales in 2024. In exchange for your global audience, you're going to receive 5% of net sales that occur on this channel. Sure. Unbelievable. And you go on to talk about launching the Authentic Heroes division with key relationships. And I'm going to pry you a little bit there. I want to hear names, man. And you're talking about, getting the brands in front of millions of people, and, position the license to A-listers and roll out merchandise driven by a proven social media model. You're also talking about the iDream CTV channel, that's going to surpass 200 million homes globally this coming October with the addition of its second marketing partner. And you go on to talk about the as seen on TV. It's really remarkable that this was a huge PR. And I think people should really reread it. There's a couple people that reached out to me and they're like, wow, this is really big. No shit. This is a big deal. So talk to us about that PR. Break it down a little bit for us and tell us what is on the chopping block for Chris and AHRO.
Well, the company Inventel in and of itself, they're going public probably more than likely to a direct listing. And, at this particular point, probably straight to NASDAQ sometime in March, April. So, it was a symbiotic, relationship that we were looking for. I've known him for quite some time. Our kids were good friends. So it wasn't a hard sell for either one of us, just a more so a matter, of understanding what we're both bringing to the table for each other. So, there was a period, of negotiation, and ultimately, 5% of net sales work. Net sales means less chargebacks, less returns, et cetera, et cetera. And that's usually about 7%, of sales. So, on average is what he's been averaging. It's just the way anything is. Amazon probably is somewhere around there too, So, when we started looking at the entire spectrum of what we can bring to him, it became more and more logistic for him, to look at the idea of our footprint, because inside the confines of China, Russia, India, Southeast Asia, where we do have a very large footprint, is his manufacturing base. So it's not a stretch for him to develop a brand new market that's about 10 times the size of the market over here. And all of that will be driven, to our, I should say, the website that we both own. So we track, sales by virtue of anybody who calls in on an 800 number. We track sales by the social media platform that we'll both own jointly. And he's been, ad sales have gone down. What used to be driven by remnant purchases, remnant media, is now down for him anyhow, to right around 48%. Of his advertising and marketing budget. Social media is what he's really doing a ton of. And the other day he ran one social media platform for the Lenny Kravitz toothpaste product. Tooth care product. And he did $390,000. Inside 8 minutes. So wow. It's a model that works.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it got to the point where we started talking about other things that we may be able to do together, and it's a little premature, but not so premature. I think inside 30 to 45 days, we'll probably have an agreement, is the idea of joint venturing, on Authentic Heroes. And Authentic Heroes, because, the Authentic Heroes product itself, is a product that is specific to nothing. It's specific to anything, that you want to apply it to. So in other words, if you had a social media icon, a pop icon, a sports figure or a music figure. At the end of the day, our technology lends itself to that, to disassemble something that somebody wore in a momentous moment. Now, where's the distribution come from? I can go get a license, but the license in and of itself, is one thing. The second part, is how do you market it now, right? So when we looked at the opportunity to work within the confines of his distribution system, we started talking seriously about that. So this is spawning, a lot of other opportunity with the same entity. And, the first thing I think we're going to do is go after a Major League Baseball license. And we're going to probably apply for that, possibly before fourth quarter is out for the new season next year.
Wow.
And so 5% of sales, it's a nebulous number at the moment, but given the size of the market that we're working in and the kind of muscle he's going to put behind it is really a telltale sign of how well we could possibly do here. I mean, 300 million in sales here in the US versus what he can possibly do overseas is a number that I don't even want to take a stab at. Now, so
well, I got to ask, and that's a different deal that you'd be working out. I want to go back to you have upcoming a deal going on with the huge TV manufacturer, and that's separate from all this. I mean, what can you tell us about where you're at in the process? Because guys, I'll tell you right now, this is a huge deal. I want to shout this from the rooftops, and I know some of you already are from the Discord. How are you with the process of this? And this company's publicly traded. They've done, it's a $1 billion company.
Yeah. $12 billion company.
And you're working out a deal with them.
I'm in a position to say who it is now. Okay, by virtue of the fact that we had a contract that was signed, okay, but there was a changing of the guard management over there. We needed to update the contract to the degree where it was representative of every platform that we were working with, whether it be, fast ad or for that matter, okay, vast tags or fast ads. Okay, so, I talked to legal and they said, you have a signed version, you want an updated version, that's what we're waiting for. So the name of the group is Hisense Televisions, okay, out of Beijing, okay, and they are, extremely excited about partnering with us. The one thing I'll lend to you, okay, as an audience, is the fact that I was not aware up until the point that I did the research that Tubi, Fubo, Freevee, Sling, nobody's got a footprint in China. We do. Wow. Okay. And now, okay, people say, well, wow, okay, people speak Mandarin over there. They speak, Cantonese in Hong Kong. Okay. Well, they watch everything in English over there. The only networks, okay, that actually have a footprint there are the news networks, okay, the ABCs, NBCs, CNNs, the Foxes, okay, they have a footprint there. But there's no, now, Tubi has an arrangement for them to broadcast their stuff over here or wherever Tubi has a footprint, but nobody's broadcasting over there. So we have a virgin audience, okay, for our programming. And the first thing we're probably going to do when we launch with Hisense is more than likely an Elvis marathon because we own 14 movies. And we're going to do an Elvis weekend, which they love over there. They just love Christmas.
Guys, this is huge. Everybody needs to get their ass on Twitter right now and let people know this. Well, so I wish you would have given me a heads up of so I could have
I just found out
to run my breaking news. Dude, this is huge. This is, and it's funny because I did put out the poll, and I asked I did ask his permission before I put out the poll because sometimes people get angry about polls and stuff like that. But I asked the poll, and actually Hisense won that poll.
Oh, interesting.
It did. It won that poll. And so, I mean, it's huge. And Hisense is trading at $3.
Yeah.
So this is enormous.
You got Hisense Electronics, Hisense, okay, there's about 4 or 5 different companies. Some trade on the Hang Seng, some trade over here, some trade, okay, on, they're on, okay, about 3 or 4 different exchanges globally. So,
18.3 billion in revs. Yeah. Look them up. Publicly traded, so symbol on 3 exchanges the symbols are numbers, not letter tickers. All right, so and that's Jamie. Jamie. Yeah, no, he's reached out to you. He's excited. Yeah. He is a pumped up shareholder, and he's a good guy. I had a chance to meet him in Miami.
Yeah. Okay. Looking forward to it as well one day.
That's insane.
So it's an exciting time. Okay, and I don't want to take the the bloom off the rose. Okay, but when we do sign that agreement, we're going to use the strongest, outreach program that we can, okay, in letting the world know that we just did a deal with the largest 100-inch TV manufacturer in the world, because they're the largest 100-inch TV manufacturer. They're selling 100-inch TVs for about 2/3 the price that everybody else is. And that's why it became number 2 so quickly. Listen,
my son has a Hisense.
I have a Hisense.
It's great. Do any of you own a Hisense? It's
the beta
okay. Hang on. You're blowing my mind a little bit here. Yeah. All right, because I'm glad you're able to announce this. So take a step back. Your app is going to be embedded onto the Hisense TV.
That's correct.
So
old and new.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, guys know when you get a TV and there's the Netflix icon, we're going to see iDream TV on there.
That's correct.
Wow.
Yeah. Now you got to understand, okay, iDream, this is something, okay, that can be confusing, okay, because in the event, okay, that somebody has a smart TV and you don't have to download our app. You just click on our icon. You put it up, okay, where you want to put it, okay, in the array, okay, of apps that you have on your screen. You just click on it. The only time, okay, you need to download the app is if you're running a platform like a Roku or something like that, or you want it on your telephone, listen to me. Okay, nobody has a telephone anymore. Okay, but in any event, okay, you download it to your tablet and then you mirror it to your TV. Otherwise, it's a seamless exercise. Okay, you don't even have to, because what we wanted to make it as seamless as possible, because typically, okay, what you'll have to do is you'll get this message, okay, you own it, download it. Okay, now you got to download that app, whether it's Tubi or whether it's Pluto, whatever it may be. Here, you just click on it okay, and it takes you right to our electronic program guide. And it's very important that everyone understand how we generate revenue here from Vastax to an audience that large. And that is okay, you click on the EPG, okay, or you click on the icon, it takes you to our EPG, electronic program guide. You see all our channels. Number one channel, okay, will be the shopping network, as seen on TV. He's the one that owns as seen on TV. That's the number one channel, comfy underneath it. Whatever channel you click on, as soon as you click, up pops an ad before the show starts. Okay, and at that point, we get paid. Depending on the country, we'll determine, okay, how much we get paid for that particular Vastag ad. So in the country of India, we may get $2. Okay, in the country of the United States, it could be $15, $20, $30 in some cases. But they're all national advertisers. It's not like what you see when you go to, let's say an OTA, version of our programming, which is primarily driven, by direct response advertisers, which are people that are looking for somebody to respond to an 800 number. That's how they get their metrics to see whether or not the ad's working. And, going into fourth quarter, we expect that number to go up really substantially now. Okay. So
profitability end of year.
I believe so. At the Maybach's level, 100%. Okay. 100%. Now at the company level, you got one-time charges. You do a stock issuance, somebody puts up some money, they get some stock. Okay. There's certain accounting measures that there's no way around. Right. But here's a real, something, that I've been speaking about for, probably close to a year. Okay. Hey, I'm happy, John Don. Okay. I'm excited too. I'm an investor in it as well as being the president of the company. So we're both excited. Okay. Things are happening, in a manner of speaking that I didn't expect them to happen as expeditiously as they are right now, because people are finding out we own content. And when you own content, you don't realize it, until it starts happening. What you really have now. Hey, thank you, Dragonfly. Okay, at this point, we're going to go ahead. We start next week. We're getting an evaluation analysis done on this library of 36,000 pieces of entertainment. Okay, and it includes everything.
Entertainment, like
in living color, the Bill Cosby Show, That Girl, okay, all of these shows, and everything. And the guy just took a look at it the other day. Okay, he's a CFA, level 3 CFA. Okay, that does independent valuation analysis. Okay, and he said, Chris, he said, listen, I've only looked at a third of it, and I'm looking at 6 million already. So, at this point, what that all means, is that we could end up with a number, that's 10 million plus on our balance sheet. By that time, wow. It's and to the point, that the guest that was on before me. Okay, Reyes. Okay,
Antonio,
I'm sorry, Antonio. Was it Antonio?
Antonio Reyes. Yep.
To his point, toxic debt is a terrible, terrible thing, and unfortunately, we inherited this stuff. Okay, but we're working out things. Okay, with them, they said, listen, all you need to do, is pay us a little bit every month. Okay, and just this month we pay off one note. Next month, we'll start paying off 2 more notes. Okay, and by the time the spring is out, it'll be gone. So. Yeah. I'm not concerned so much with the toxic debt because I have a very good relationship with these people. I meet with them. I break bread with them. I talk to them, keep them informed of what's going on. And that's the most important thing is the sharing of information. Okay. And, to the point, that he had made about Mr. Silverman. Okay. I've done 65 deals in my life. Okay. 12 IPOs that I own. I own the brokerage firm. Okay. So I understand the capacity in which that gentleman works and how important that is to a company. So yes, we are talking to several different IBs. Okay. But, and they're people that want me to uplist now. They say, just do a reverse. Okay. No, I'm not doing a reverse. Okay. I want fair market value for the value that we're bringing to the table. And down the road, we can talk about it. We don't need the capital to survive. All right. A lot of companies need capital to survive. There's no payroll here. Okay. There's nothing like that. There's no expensive offices in New York City or even in New Jersey for that matter. We operate lean. And just in case you want to know, if you want to look at the financials, you could check this. Our total monthly, including running Maybachs and a holding company with legal and accounting is probably about 60,000. We're just about break even now, on the entirety, not just at Maybachs, but at the company level, at the corporate level, we're just about even. Fourth quarter, we're going to shatter that, okay, in terms of ad revenue, just from insert ads. Whatever happens with VAS tags, okay, we're going to find out. We're going to find out starting soon. Okay. Thank you. Okay, appreciate it. Okay.
This is crazy. Like, dude, I am absolutely pumped up from you. I had a comment here from Chris too. This is a real working U.S. company with tangible content and revenue, adding more tomorrow. Nice to see an OTC stock that's real, not a lottery ticket like the others. I think your stock is completely undervalued.
Yeah, so do I. But you know what? It lends itself, okay, to probably the greatest deal I ever did. Okay, as an underwriter. Okay, owning a brokerage firm, and it was a boring company. Okay, it was a company known as First Cash Financial. FCFS is the symbol. It's on NASDAQ. I underwrote it. I did a private of $2 million. Okay, then we underwrote it, okay, for $8 million, did a second underwriting for $12 million, but handed it off to another firm down in Texas, which most people here may not know of, okay, called Herein. Okay, and also, okay, William K. Woodruff and Company, which are the grandsons of the founders, okay, of Coca-Cola. Okay, so, they did a phenomenal job, but the problem was the stock was stuck in the mud for probably, 2.5 years. And it was just, nobody understood the pawn shop business. But I understood the pawn shop business to do about 5 minutes worth of due diligence on this individual because he ran the only profitable savings and loan company in all of Texas in the late 80s. Okay, when oil was down at $18 a barrel. The real estate market went to hell, which always happens in Texas and Florida first, right? Okay, because of the overbuilding that they do. And then ultimately, okay, they're charging, okay, the equivalent to 30% a month, 360% a year, okay, is what they charge for your guitar to hang on that wall, okay, if you want to borrow money against it. And I said, wait a second, you ran a profitable SNL, okay, with margins, okay, that are razor thin for the most part because you didn't have credit card rates at that point that exceeded 18%. Okay, so it was a narrow margin, okay, that they were working on, and so we underwrote that deal, and then finally they took off because I made an introduction to the right analyst, who Dennis Van Selfton, who you can look up. Okay, said, Chris, this is the most undervalued play I've ever seen in the financial sector, and it went, okay, from a $28 million valuation to about it's almost $5 billion right now. Okay, they bought Cash America. So I'm looking at us. Okay, we gotta. This is the game plan, guys. Okay, the game plan is for us to become profitable. Once I'm profitable, now I can go to private equity. Now I can go to other places to acquire what? More content. I don't want to acquire a station with overhead. No, I want to acquire content that I could distribute to my audience, which is global. Okay, and that's when the rubber really meets the road. Wow. That's when a major player comes in. That's when, okay, at the end of the day, okay, you're in a position, okay, to take this foundation you built and put the rooftop on it, okay? And you just see the smoke swirling out of the fireplace at that point, right? Okay, so, but, okay, it's just one, I don't mean to go metaphorically here.
No, you're good.
Yeah. But
go ahead.
This is, okay, it's very possible we can beat NASDAQ eligible list price by the end of first quarter. By the end of first quarter, just from the balance sheet in and of itself. So, okay,
talk about the price.
You add back revenue, you add back a P&L. Okay, and now all of a sudden, okay, understand, our revenue is going to come not only from advertising, it's going to come from overrides, okay, on sales. We're talking to 2 other groups that want to do the same thing that As Seen on TV is doing, right? Okay, so we get paid. You want distribution? This is what it costs for distribution, okay, of your product or products, all right? And then there's subscriptions. Subscriptions will start probably by the end of first quarter, okay, and that's all VOD stuff. Whether it be for karaoke, whether it be, okay, for the movies, okay, where you can watch the movie whenever you want to watch the movie, all 30,000 of them, okay? And in addition to that, we're going to do pay-per-view, okay? I can't get into that too much because that's confidential right now, okay? But we will be a pay-per-view player, okay, with stuff that we're promoting and we're producing. Okay, so not somebody else's. We're not a distribution company. Would we do a pay-per-view for a third party because somebody else wants to charge them too much money? Yeah, sure. Okay, we consider it, but we would want something in return for it, not just to distribute a product. Okay, at the end of the day, okay, it could be anything from a music icon to a professional, a professional sports, I want to talk about it, but I can't. Okay.
Yeah, no, right on, right on. I don't want you to spill the beans now. I want you to
Days.
surprise me like you did today again, maybe in a month. But I want to get to a couple questions here, some great questions.
Eric, that came in barely an hour ago. Okay.
That's crazy.
But he doesn't want a public release on it. Okay. He said, listen, wait for the new one. Okay. And then you go ahead, okay, and go to the wire with it, Okay.
15,000 for 10 million shares. Ha, I need an OnlyFans channel to buy more. We need to have an early investors party with Chris when the time is right. I do plan on getting together with Chris at some point.
Yeah.
I know we're only practically a stone's throw away. But
where are most of your where is most of your audience? Is it geographically dispersed? Okay, nestled up here in the Northeast. Okay,
I think that we're all over. I mean, we're all over the United States. I know, I've talked to people like my Discord, man. We are spread all over Canada, Western United. We're all over. We're all over. The BFC Nation is all over.
Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. Okay. It's a very diverse audience. Okay, and demographically dispersed. Okay, and geographically dispersed. Okay, and
Do you see AHRO eventually trading on the big boards? And you just talked about this, and so is that the goal of the company? So that was answered, and I just wanted to acknowledge your question, Stephanie.
Sure.
We have a question
Stephanie, from. I think that process, okay, will start toward the end of 2025. Okay.
Beautiful.
It takes time. Okay. It'll take you a good 6 months to 9 months to get that uplisting done. And we'll just get stronger as that time, okay, approaches, in terms of revenue and in terms of building the balance sheet, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll look like a NASDAQ company. And, at the end of the day, okay, whether it's NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange, okay, Amex, so to speak, okay, remains to be seen. This is what I used to do for other companies. Now I'm doing it, okay, for us. You know what I mean? Okay, so
check out his LinkedIn. You have a lot of experience in this, and so Jamie has a question from ads being run and fees generated. What is the typical time it will take Maybachs to collect monies? 30, 45? How long?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. Okay, so in the past, okay, we had some challenges in collecting money, Jamie, and we were dealing with a group called WorldLink Media. Okay, and WorldLink Media, okay, is a sizable group of people. Okay, and at the end of the day, they don't pay you until they get paid, which means I can't develop an accounts receivable. I can't borrow money against it, even at great rates, because I can't establish an AR. So without establishing an AR, I can't put it on my on my P&L or my balance sheet. Okay, once it flips, okay, it's almost like I'm running a cash business with them. So we moved to another agency, and she was the former VP of marketing and sales at WorldLink. So now what we're doing, okay, is we're billing directly. We built out a software program that does everything for us. Okay, that takes away all the hard work, all of the tedious and the work. Okay, that just makes you want to fall asleep. Okay, that Maureen, who is the founder really of Maybachs, was doing, and I said, you are not doing this anymore. So we built out a software program with WiseDB that does all our pre-logs, which are you have to show the advertising agency where these ads are being placed and at what time. And then when they run, okay, you got 3 to 5 days to do what's called a post log. She was doing all this manually. It's like, how she did it without losing her mind, okay, it's beyond me, okay, because you're talking thousands of entries on a spreadsheet, okay, it's horrible. So now we have that we also it invoices automatically.
Oh wow!
We invoice, okay, 3 to 5 days after the commercial runs. And we should be paid in somewhere between, at this point, okay, we're picking up 7 points because they were charging us 20 on the ad placement, and Maria's charging 13. So we pick up 7 points there. And in addition to that, we are probably saving 30 to 45 days. So typically we were 90 to 120 in some cases because they wouldn't pay us, okay, until they got paid. And they have 30 days to pay us once they get paid. So now, okay, we're rid of that albatross, okay, and at this point we'll be paid in 45 to 60 days is what I'm estimating.
Wow. Hey guys, if you're watching live right now, whether you're on the X, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook, give this video a like and share it. And we had breaking news here tonight. If you're just tuning in, a partnership with Hisense. We pulled it. That was actually the winner in our poll. So let's tell everybody about this because this is just huge. Everything that you're working on, dude, you're crushing it. You're nonstop. And I love the fact that you're talking about owning the content. You don't want the overhead. You don't want to have to pay 20 employees. The content is where the money's at. The airing rights, all these things. The valuation on the 36,000 pieces that you were talking about,
Mhm.
that is going to be huge.
Yeah.
And so, I can't wait to see what the ending valuation is on that. That's going to be.
Well, I'm going to give the market every excuse in the world to want to buy the stock. Okay, it's not what I concentrate on, as you know. Okay, I concentrate on the company, not the stock. Okay, because the company will get the stock where it needs to be. But another trigger event that we'll probably put out in the form of an 8K, probably in October. Okay, is that I'm taking $2 million worth of advances that I made. Okay, and in addition to that, okay, Paul is taking a $300,000 worth of money that he lent the company, and that's how we've kept. Listen, the dilution occurred, okay, as the conversions occurred within a 5-6 month window in May. There really hasn't been very much dilution since then. 400 million shares, okay, versus where we are over a period of 4 years. Okay, which is
that's not a lot.
nothing. Okay, really, in the scheme of things. And there wasn't anything we could do about it except me meet with them. Okay, and we worked things out. So the thing going forward is we feel so strongly about where we're going that we're going to go ahead and in exchange for our debt, our advances that we made the company, take back, okay, a non-convertible preferred that won't convert until we earn $1 million. Okay, which I may have said here once before, but I'm going to reemphasize it. It's going to pen and ink now. I mean, okay, so
not converting that to a non-convertible
that and an uplisting both have to occur.
Well, okay, you guys heard it. All right, that is very incentivizing, and that speaks to your confidence level, I would think.
I mean, okay, it does.
You've done what, 12 IPO deals you said before?
Well, we did 12. I sold the firm, okay, because I wanted to concentrate on bankruptcy. I could have probably done about 30 or 40 of them, okay, but it just wasn't what I wanted to do. Okay, I wanted to concentrate on turning around companies. That's exactly what we're doing here.
That's amazing.
With a very small team. Okay, there's no reason to have a larger team right now. Okay,
wow.
But that time will come.
There's an important question, and I did see a post about this like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Can you reach out to Fruition Films to air XRP documentary? They are having a distribution issue, and they are a company, they are a film company, and so I did tag you in that. So would you be able to reach out to them in regards to distributing their film?
Yeah. Okay. So
what would the process be on something like that?
Well, the process, okay, with the onboarding itself, okay, is the easy part, right? Okay, it's just that where do we put them? Okay, so we have 30 channels right now for a reason, right? Okay, so what we did, okay, is we took channels, okay, that we really don't have a ton of programming on, but we keep them open because when something comes along, we could just slide it in there without having to go ahead and create another channel, okay, and change the name of the channel. So it depends on the depth and breadth of product that they have as to whether or not it would be a channel that would be dedicated to that genre of, film, okay, that they're looking to have distributed. But I'm more than happy, okay, to have a conversation with them. And what we really do is we'll do, okay, a rev share. Like a group that we're talking to right now has a ton of content and it has very global appeal. And, they said, well, how do we monetize it? I said, well, what we'll do is we'll put a VAS tag on it. So you're going to become part of Toro TV. And guys, don't forget, okay, the 20th of this month, okay, Toro TV, Ring of Combat, 85. Okay, we're broadcasting live. Okay, and Toro TV is about to take a quantum leap forward because we've got all sorts of things happening, okay, with that right now, okay? And rather than getting into the content provider I was just speaking of, okay, that'll have global appeal, they had 35 million people look at their sizzle reel, okay? So it gives you an idea how popular their content is. So, but we also have Hulk Hogan, okay? We have, okay, a bunch of stuff going on, okay, with a group, okay, that ultimately called Ring Fever. You could check out little doodads, okay, on YouTube, okay, from the original Ring Fever. Ring Fever was on fire. They were getting 2-3 million hits, okay, a pop, okay, up until COVID. Because what my guy would do is go out with Hulk Hogan, okay, and go into people's homes. Okay, they were wrestling fans and sit down, and it was like a reality show in a way, right? So Toro TV is starting to consolidate. So that's an example of, let's say, okay, the film company that you're speaking of, okay, we would take them, would we migrate them and cross-pollinate them with Movie Giant? Are they large enough to have their own channel, their own distribution, or to become part of one of our other networks, so to speak, Okay, so there's always opportunity to discuss that. Yeah, I'm more than happy to speak with them.
Cool. I have another question here.
Yeah, sure.
Do you have a marketing team? So what are you guys doing for
Oh,
marketing?
Stephanie, you're going to be my marketing team. I'm the marketing team along with Maureen, her daughter, okay, and one other individual. So there's really 5 of us at the helm, okay, doing all of this. So, okay, Maureen, understand, okay, Maureen, okay, was
Wait a second. Can I ask you real quick?
Yeah.
Is it? I know this is your baby. All right. Is it a trust issue? And once you get so big, are you going to go through a vetting process to really get somebody like you're gonna have to at some point
Yeah,
bring other people on board?
absolutely.
So is it sort of like a control thing where you want to make sure that the product and the process is delivered and explained to your liking? Is that what this is about? Would
Uh,
you say?
the product and the process doesn't, listen, okay, I'm not an autocrat. Okay, but at the same time, okay, I'm not a benevolent despot either. Okay, so I mean, okay, it's just okay. A vetting process always has to occur, and if you noticed, okay, I never really took any stock in the company because all I really wanted to do, okay, was a matter of taking control of the company and being able to make decisions without having to go through an entire board meeting or a proxy, okay, with shareholders. Okay, so I took a voting preferred, and I have votes, okay, to make moves when I need to make moves, but I always defer to other people, okay. And my co-chairman that I used to have, okay, was a substantial guy, okay, that was Bennett LeBeau's right-hand guy. Okay, Bennett LeBeau, okay, is of old fame, not new fame. Okay, but multi-$100 million guy, owned Ladenburg Thalmann, okay, owned a lot of different stuff. Okay, so I mean, okay, but it's always good to have a mentor above you. So who are my mentors? My mentors, okay, are people that, okay, are not necessarily with the company. And I discuss things with them, okay, as to what do you think here? What do you think there? Okay. It's something, okay, that I believe, okay, will serve everybody well. Okay. The fact that, I have a keen eye, but at the same time, okay, nobody has the keenest eye.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So it's always good to bounce things off people, okay, including
You were talking about Maureen. You were talking about Maureen and her role in the marketing.
Okay, is listen, okay, this is a woman, okay, that eventually we should have her on. She is
Great.
one of the most delightful people that you'll ever meet. Okay, and be very frank with you. Okay, she's extraordinary. Okay, you don't realize until you see her in action, not in an interview. She giggles a lot. Okay, so when it's just her nature, right? Okay, but you see her in action, okay, it's just like, wow, okay, this woman, okay, so she's the one who drew up, okay, this program that we're going to be doing with blanks. We're going to go ahead, okay, we're going to be in 50 markets. We're going to have 20 major markets. Our advertising rates, okay, are going to, substantiate itself at the end of first quarter in such a manner of speaking, where I think we're going to have such a hockey stick in revenue, by virtue, okay, of our ad rates going up. But Maureen, okay, was HBO. She was one of the original HBO people. She opened up, okay, HBO Europe, okay, Eastern Europe, okay. She was stuck in Eastern Europe as much as she wanted to get anywhere else, okay. But yeah, she knows Sinclair Broadcasting, okay, which is a major player, okay. She was there, helped them build out, okay, their content, okay, and for 15 years she's been building content. So when she came to me, okay, to a third party and asked me, would you like to be an investor? I said, yeah, well, what are you doing with all this content? Okay, and she goes, well, I'm trying to distribute it. Okay. But I need capital, okay, to go ahead, okay, and do that. Okay. So, I became an investor. Okay. 3 years later, we bought her. Okay. And in a manner of speaking, okay, that was a tax-free exchange for her and didn't cost us any money. Okay. So, with that being said, okay, we guaranteed to go ahead and pick up all her overhead. So it was a very good purchase for us, but we got along very well for 2 years, and we trust one another implicitly. Okay, and we hope that never changes. Okay, I don't think it will.
That's important.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she's helped build, okay, a few different mini dynasties out there in terms of independence. Okay, so I mean, but yeah, we're excited. Okay, the Maybachs is, like I always say, it's the epicenter of the company, but Authentic Heroes, okay, is going to pick up the rear now. Okay, so
Chris, you're crushing it, dude. You crushed it tonight. Big news. And so I want to thank you for coming on, and I want to thank my guests for asking some great questions.
Yeah, awesome questions again. I'm here as long as you guys need me. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do some more. We'll do a Discord only chat in the next week or two. I know we were set to do one a couple weeks ago on the long weekend, and Chris and I were going to do. Well, yeah, let's do a chat Friday, and then we realized Oh shit! It's the Friday before Labor Day,
Right.
so but we're gonna do a Discord Q&A. The big news about Hisense. Congratulations on the work that you've done,
Hey,
and
thank you.
thanks for joining me again, Chris.
It was great. It was great. Always is okay here at PFC.
Awesome. All right, get this hooligan out of here. Get him out of here.
You guys have a great Sunday night. Okay, and look forward to hearing from all of you. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free, okay, to either email me or Eric has my number. All right. Thank you,
All
guys.
right. Thank you so much.
See ya.
All right. That was amazing. All right. Caught off guard with Hisense. Unbelievable. And my thumbs will take to the tweeter in a little bit. And are we going to do this? Are we going to talk Eyeless? Are we going to do this? Today? I'll tell you what, I am absolutely fired up. And I'm taking a little heat, but I'm also being applauded. So, the trolls don't like it. The longs love it, and I don't care. So, man, I'm telling you, I'm absolutely excited. Totally excited. Doubled my position. But listen, guys, we've heard, the saying buy low, sell high, right? It's practically investing 101. But here's the thing. When a stock actually hits an all-time low, suddenly everyone forgets that advice and starts running for the hills like it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. You see a stock scraping at the bottom. The market has already thrown the kitchen sink at it. Fear, uncertainty, doubt, it's all been priced in. But the market, remember, it's not exactly known for its cool, calm, and rational thinking. It's more like a bunch of overly caffeinated people at a fire sale, panicking and pushing over grandma. That's just the truth. And that's when you or me, can step in with a little common sense. All right? I want to make this clear. Doubling down on a high conviction investment when it's at rock bottom, that's where the magic happens. And no, I'm not saying going blindfolded just because it's cheap. I'm saying when you've done your homework, when you've done your due diligence, and you still believe in the company's fundamentals, doubling down isn't reckless. It's smart. It's like getting that same stock that you loved yesterday, but now it's on clearance. And who doesn't love a good sale, right? And I know many of you are just holding for sunsets and rainbows and haven't added to your position since it was 40 cents. Are you an investor or are you a schlep from a bull run fueled by a government handout? Ask yourself that. I've always strived to learn and become a better trader, and I've submerged myself in the trading world, specifically the OTC, to learn as much as I can. And I still have a lot to learn, but I'm excited about this, guys. I want you to think about this. Markets move in cycles. What crashes can recover. Not saying it's going to, but here's the catch. While everybody else is too busy crying into their portfolios, trolling on Twitter, the smart investor sees opportunity. Take Warren Buffett. He's not hiding under his desk and crying every time the market drops. He's probably leaning back in his chair, smiling and saying, yes, another cheapy day, another discount day. This is just me. Doubling down on a stock as it's low isn't about gambling. It's about lowering your average cost, magnifying your potential upside when the market inevitably remembers, oh yeah, that stock wasn't actually garbage after all. But sure, let everybody sell off and panic and troll. Let them think they're being safe. Meanwhile, people like yours truly are playing the long game. So no, it's not without risk. We're talking about the stock market. There are no guarantees. You never risk what you can't afford to lose. But here's the kicker. If you really believe in the companies, the due diligence, if you've done your research, doubling down at the bottom isn't just smart. It's downright strategic. Strategery. All right? So the next time the market's melting down and everyone is acting like it's financial Armageddon, you got to ask yourself these things. Is this my moment? Is this the time to double down? Not just on the stock, but on my own conviction. Whether Eyeless pivots or doesn't pivot, whether they're silent or they're not silent. Because let's be honest, while everyone else is freaking out, that's when the real money is being made. It's easy to buy the hype, but it takes balls of steel to double down when your favorite stock is beaten to high hell. I'm serious. With that being said, I will probably buy more this week because it's a high conviction play. It's beaten to high hell, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and that's just it. So, share your thoughts in the chat. I'm doubling down, and that's it. Who's with me? 43% of you think I'm crazy. I put out that poll. That's okay. You don't have to agree with me. Literally days away again. But is this it? As previously disclosed on each of July 19th, 2024, August 2nd, August 16th, the parties agreed to extend the non-solicitation and no-shop periods provided in the term sheet to additional periods, the last period being until August 30th, 2024. I'm fired up, especially after that interview with Chris, by the way. I'm fired up, but I'm fired up for ILS too. I'm wired and fired up. So listen, here's the most recent update. On August 30th, 2024, the parties agreed to extend the non-solicitation and no-shop periods provided in the term sheet until October 1st, 2024, except that if certain conditions will not be met by September 15th, that's my birthday, by the way, so Ilis, please make it a good birthday for yours truly. The non-solicitation and no-shop periods shall terminate on September 15th, 2024. That is a pivotal date. Serious. In addition, the parties agreed that the targeted date for signing and closing of the transaction shall be October 1st, 2024. That is crucial, unless otherwise mutually terminated earlier by the parties. And then he put the disclaimer, there's no assurance that a definitive agreement will be entered into or that this proposal or the proposed transaction will be consummated. And this is exciting to me. This was on August 30th. This is when they added that other extension on. We have agreed to extend the targeted closing date. Although there is another extension, we are pleased to have reached the point of a firmly targeted date for completion. All parties are fully committed. Info formal update early next week. We never got it. I think they're waiting till this thing's done. They're probably being advised to wait till it's done. So I have a decision. I had a decision here as an investor. QIND, they uplist. ASNS. The others are going to follow. SAML. ILS. So I ask myself this. With the due diligence, with covering these guys for 3 years, what do? Do I sit there with a 3-cent average? Or do I try to make that 1.5 cents? I tried to make it one. I did make it 1.5 cents. What am I going to do next? I'm going to try to bring that sucker right down to a penny because I am battling time here in my mind. This is a long-term investment. I'm doubling down on my conviction and my due diligence. I could be wrong, but I'll own it. I'll know it's my $70,000 down the tubes. But I like the risk to reward ratio here in my mind. I will put my money where my mouth is. I'm not going to buy it and then sell it and then do a video of how I'm going to sell it and then buy it and then sell it and then badmouth it. This has been a long investment for me. I said from the minute I started covering this, 3 to 5 years, we're in year 3. I will always be consistent. I'll always be honest. And I'll always put my money where my mouth is. I'll always do that. So this is the indicator that makes me very happy. Now, Fred Z is on point. And I want to give a shout out to Fred Z. Shout out to you. Seriously, bro. You're doing a great job. By the way, Gary Wright loves the Oreos in the background. I said I wanted to do something, it's a little bit different than the Flames. I go, we need some Oreo action going on here. So Fred Z is on point. Someone on the Discord pointed out some good things about QIND. Why would they issue an AK yesterday appointed Sanjeev Safir as a QIND managing director? Previously, he was El Shola El Modia ASS. Remember ASSS. The El Shola deal acquisition is getting paid in national exchange listed stock or cash. But we know that they don't have the cash, so they will be paying in NASDAQ stock, ASNS. And thus, the ASNS merger must go through in order for El Shola the El Shola acquisition to be paid. So this 8K signals that the deal is agreed to. It's done. He's reading between the lines. Otherwise, why would this guy accept a role that wouldn't exist or be meaningless unless the deal is completed? Also, the payment of the stock is due the quarter after an uplist. So closing it on October 1st delays that first payment by 90 days. And, he posted that, but you got to double check. So I checked and boom, there it is. He was appointed that. And it did say the executive has received a sign-on bonus consisting of 1 million shares in the company upon entering the contract. So I think that we are literally on the cusp of this thing gets done. And let me tell you, if this thing gets done, they're all going to follow. That's my opinion. This is not financial advice. I make sure I put that disclaimer up there, but I'm getting fired up and I'm ready to go. We're ready for a win. And I'm ready just to keep on investing. Yeah. Teddy, I'm almost at a penny. I'm in from the beginning. Right on, bro. Fred Z has been a huge defender, but with evidence to support of QIND. So here's another one. Can you share where you haven't covered? I just haven't covered him yet. I might, ASNS was between 90 and 40 cents. QIND saved ASNS. So am I doubling down? Damn right I'm doubling down. I believe in my conviction. I believe in my due diligence, and it's my decision. And that's it. And I own it. And I'll always own it, and I'll always be honest. You rock, John. You rock. You know who rocks? That's right. Oh man, I just can't. Yeah, I Nick Cage memes. Tag me on the X, on the old Twitter. I want you guys to tag me tonight with some Nicolas Cage memes. And whichever one I like the best, I'll send some chicken wing sauce too. I'll send you out some sauce. Oh, Face Off. I'm telling you, it was a good movie. Yeah. Gary, you rock. But guys, I am fired up. This was, I will say, a freaking awesome episode. LUDG is going to smash it, in my opinion. Chris just made some huge news. Huge news. Partnership with Hisense. Whoa. Right? And I'm doubling down on Eyeless, and I ain't going nowhere. That's it. You guys smash that like button, share the content, tag me with some Nicolas Cage memes, damn it. You all have a great night. The Bills won, I'm in a good mood. That's all I got. Remember, there is more that binds us than breaks us. I'm out of here. Peace.